Okay, folks, happy Tuesday evening. Happy Tuesday evening. And I just noticed today is the 6th day in a row I have been on. Six days in a row. Let's de-jewel. And, the rings aren't a problem, but the bracelet, can't do any of this stuff with the bracelet on, for sure. Yeah, so I painted this little crewman this morning, a little half figure of the crewman. And we'll wait for folks to come in. One person in particular I need to talk to today. Actually, two people I need to talk to today. We'll see if they come on. I've got special messages for them. Nothing bad, stuff that they're going to be particularly interested in. Wow, I really got to zoom in on this guy. Let's see, let's bring in that other light source. Although it's small, it can help. Let's get some of that stuff on here. And let's put this clown at the top of this. And now let's adjust. It's always the opposite way I want to move them. Is this thing right side up? Microset, yes, okay. Perfect. Yeah, lighting's weird here. Anyhow, this is the little half figure. He's not sealed yet. Just a minimal amount of layering. Oh, I still have to do his hair. So we gotta do the hair. It just shows up on the back of him. And then we've got this other half figure to do. Just some other touch-up stuff to do. And is it raining? Holy cow, it's actually raining? Well, that's a blessing. Zoom out. Okay. So that's what we're going to be working on. We're going to be working on this other figure next. And some license plates that we need to do. Seal these two guys. Finish the basing on the armored cars. Glue the two guys in. And we should be ready to rock and roll. Wow, I can't believe it's actually raining. We have such a pollen problem. Everything's covered in yellow. All right. Well, this guy's basically complete. Let's take my glasses off so I can see up close. I'll take things that only make sense to people that are nearsighted for 1,000, please. Okay. Yeah, we got his little hair to do. Oh, we'll come back to that in a second. Let's paint this other Nazi bastard. We're going to need some black out here. I think I was struggling with just using this little bit of black in the morning. We didn't put a new one out here. And the same thing with the white. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and write myself a note so I do not forget to bring up those two things. If those two folks come in that are regulars, I actually have pretty neat handwriting, but not when I'm writing in a hurry. It's almost like if it's something that's just like notes, I'm like, I know I'm not going to save this for later, and I get in a hurry, and I do not write neat. Like if I'm on the phone or something like that, taking messages for like directions or something, I just jot stuff down. I don't want to hold up the person on the other end. Okay. So let's touch up some spots on this guy that may be a little lighter. Unfortunately, this is the same figure that was in one of the tanks. I want to see it on top of the Panzer IIIs. And the other one is actually the same half figure that's in the Czech 38. So I was kind of hoping I could paint these guys not in black uniforms, but in olive drab uniforms. But apparently they weren't using those just yet on these vehicles. So it's not a big deal. That's about all it needs. It doesn't need a whole lot to it on the highlighting front. Well, let's go to his face. And we skipped our workout this evening on purpose because I didn't want to have shaky hands and not be able to paint these guys. So I went ahead and changed, and if I feel up to it later, I'll hop on there for half an hour and have that woman scream at me. So we're looking for two folks tonight. Rick, if you come in, I got some news for you. Marcus, I got something to bring up to you. None of it's bad, of course. Both of them usually announce themselves when they come in. I don't really want to spy on people. I wish it would tell me who's on, so I could be like, hey, what's up, John, or whatever. But I guess you're allowed to be a peeping Tom if you want to be, and just hide out on the sidelines and not say anything. I guess it's not a big deal. Boy, this dried up quick. It was just this morning. It's already dried out. Marcus, there he is. Perfect. Excellent. Good. I got something to bring up to you. Tuesday evening painting for me too. Yeah. 6 days in a row. So that's good. So you asked me a question that I don't like sending emails that don't solve problems. This is just a work-related thing. And there's no point in typing something long that I can just discuss, because invariably the gist of things get lost in typing. But here we go. You asked me about my rules. You asked me a question, something about my rules. And I was working on a set of rules. My Mitch at the time was a guy I grew up with gaming. His name's Jeff Franz. And I thought I gamed with him pretty often. but not compared to, gaming every week. But anyway, so he lived in town, he moved away, and he came back to study, and then he moved away, and he was in the army. So he's not really, wasn't really, couldn't really count on when he was going to be here. So it's not really his fault, but he was the one that joined the army, so technically it is his fault. Anyhow, so he was my good buddy, gaming with, always had a good attitude, and always did, the gaming stuff together. We were doing World War II stuff together. We played Sea Krieg, all that kind of stuff. So we went on a trip back in the 90s when stores had things. To this place in Tampa, which is about 2 hours away, called the Emperor's Outpost. And the Emperor's Outpost had 20 millimeter skirmish figures, and I fell in love with them because of their, by my favorite sculptor. And so we started making our own set of rules, and not for sale, just for our use. I don't have this grand ambition to make things and sell them for money. I learned pretty early on that you need to do something because you love something, not because you think you're going to make money at it, because there's no money in this. So we came up with our set of rules, and the basis of the rules was, of course, percentile. We came from playing Sea Krieg 4, and it's all a percentile game. I'm a percentile player. It's what I'm used to. When I was first introduced to games that use a D6, what is it, like Monopoly or something? It's got to be like really basic. Who the hell would want to play that? But all percentile, and the way that basically the mechanics of it in a nutshell is, you had a character. Each soldier was different. And you had a percentile to hit with, say, and an actual scale too. So, I wanted grenades to go about a foot away, I think we were using a centimeter equals a meter. And the rules, the face of battle I use is actually an inch equals 2 meters. It's almost the same. Everything else ends up being, if it is individual soldiers, you'll have a really condensed distance. So have grenades that only go like 4 inches away, like Battleground. I got one guy that I know whose religion is Battleground. And I looked at Battleground, I actually had the set of rules. And grenades, you only throw them 4 inches away. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but then you can never put your guys closer than 10 meters away from each other. If the figures are touching, they're still 10 meters away from each other to make, to have the same distance as a grenade going 4 inches. Anyways. Rick, there's the other person I have something for. You're up next, okay? I've got something for both of you guys. You're on my list. Marcus got here first, so sorry, dude. You're act 2. I have something for you that happened today that you will find interesting. It's good news. Good news for you. It's good news for me too. Anyhow, so we were coming up with our own system. So the basic gist of it is you have a percentage to hit somebody with, say, a rifle, and we're marking off every round. Okay, so like if you've got semi-automatic guns, you got to if fully automatic guns, you roll to see how many guns get spit, how many bullets get spit out, and you have to keep track of them. So it sounds really anal retentive, but you're not playing with that many guys. Actually, it is anal retentive. But here's the unique thing about the rules as we had them that I've never seen another system do. And with all that said, Face of Battle is pretty close to what we were doing. The thing that ours was different is there was a chance to hit, and then once you hit the target, you roll for hit location on the body, and then you do damage and stuff. This isn't Phoenix Command, okay? But still, it makes a difference where you get hit. If you got a leg injury, it's different than an arm injury. And it's different than an arm injury that's your primary arm, okay? So you roll to hit, you roll hit location. This is from playing naval games. That's how we think, your chances of hitting somebody and then you hit them. Now, here's the thing that was innovative about it. if you're shooting at somebody in a window, they're not really that smaller of a target, but you may actually hit them in a leg, which is covered by whatever the building is made of. So then you have to roll for penetration by the round. And it sounds really difficult, but it isn't. Okay? So that's kind of, unique. It's certain cover isn't necessarily harder to hit the guy. It's just if he's not that much of a smaller target, it's just when you hit, you may actually hit something that's protected by the cover you're in. Well, that's when you have something like a 50 caliber comes in. If he gets hit by a 50 caliber round and it's in the leg, but he's in a window, but it's a wooden building, it's probably going to penetrate and hurt him anyways. So that's kind of what was innovative about it, is that there was a roll to hit with the person's weapons, and then there was an effect. Face of Battle does all of it in one die roll. So you roll, you shoot a Mauser, you get one die roll. You roll, a 40. Okay, you missed. You roll a 3, you hit. You roll a 99, there's a jam on the gun. It's not exactly a jam, it's called something else. Mishap or something like that. And then you have to roll to see what it is. It just takes an action to, change magazines or, something like that. But there's something that takes up some of your attention. And Face of Battle works that all together in one die roll. And I'm okay with it. But, so in other words, you roll and, and you look at the effect, he takes a morale check, or he gets wounded, or he gets this or the other. So, you separate hit and effect, one die roll. Yeah, so anyway, the problem is I couldn't play with him every week. So we never got anywhere. And I still have the rules. And the funny thing is the name of the rules, I changed at that point, I changed my name on my email address. I changed my email address to the name of the rules. And they're going to be Schützengruppe, which is just rifle squad in German. If you're going to make a World War II rule set, you got to give it a German name, because those fuckers are involved in everything. So you see a rule set with a German name, it's going to, it's World War II. It's a World War II set, right? Well, it's funny, you look it up now, and there's some other company that came up with that, with a game that's called that. I'm like, they freaking stole my game the name from me. But anyhow, you're running about a half squad normally. So the Face of Battle has all that stuff and then more. So we just kind of roll with it. I've only played it 3 or 4 times, because that was kind of that time period where I didn't have anybody in town to play, and he came over a couple times and really didn't have anywhere we could just leave games set up. So it was difficult getting through a game. So I'm going to go about it a little bit differently based on what I've known and my experience the last 18 years. So anyhow, that's what I kind of wanted to tell you kind of how that mechanics of that works. After action report, I'm not doing one. I'm going to do them live. I'm just going to do the games live. It's a lot less work. So I'm probably going to have to do something small on my own, so that I'm not like a total moron not being able to find, because the rules are really thick, but you don't use all of it, and none of it is abstract. Nothing in the game is abstract at all. If you think, well, there's probably not a rule for this, I can't find it, but it's probably this, and you go look it up later, it's what you thought, because it just makes sense, if you know anything about combat or stuff like that, But they got stuff in there for like Bangalore torpedoes. Nobody's ever used a damn Bangalore torpedo in a game, it's just weird stuff, but it's in there, everything's in there. So, flame-throwing tanks, that's what I really like about flame-throwing tanks. They go out like, 30 inches away. They'll fire like 30 inches away of flame. Like, that's great. You want to use flame-throwing, if you put a flame-throwing tank in a battle, you want it to flame somebody, So, anyhow, Rick's turn. So just today, I the convention that we have coming up in April, I'm not running, I'm not playing DBA anymore. I'm just, that ship has sailed. I need something. I need something that whets my appetite more. It's too generic. It's too generic. I don't want to play things that are tournament, and because my tolerance for putting up with people that want to play shady is nil, and I have no filter. So I would literally call them out on it. I heard rumors that we're going to start getting a regular who's a loose player, i.e., cheater. So I'm like, I'm not dealing with that shit. So if I'm going to run a game, I'm going to pick who's in it, not run it at cons, and we'll be done with it whenever we're done with it. But anyways, I digress. So I don't know what I was going to do. I was planning on playing some other games, but they didn't have a whole lot of games listed on the PEL. Well, today I checked. One of my favorite game masters, I've played his games before. He runs an excellent series of games. Anything he puts on, and he uses different rule sets. Did a huge extravaganza on a rule set that I want to tinker with and probably play with my DBA troops. And that is Lion Rampant. So on Saturday, there's 3 sessions on Saturday. He's running a morning, afternoon, and evening session of a Crusades battle, and I signed up for all 3. So the way I figure is, if I want to try Lion Rampant, there's nothing better than playing 3 4-hour sessions of Lion Rampant, picking up the rules. So now I have a fresh in my mind, and I've played it twice before and liked it. There's a lot of things that I like about it. There's 2 things I outright dislike about them, and they're totally fixable. Okay, because I don't plan on running a Lion Rampant tournament, right? So I can do whatever the F I want, right? But there's only 2 things I dislike about them. One of them is that the size of the units are a fixed size. Like infantry is always 6, cavalry is always whatever. So okay, whatever. That's because for points based. But every point system you have out there, everybody always has a game that, those guys aren't a good value. Well, that's got the wrong points value. How about just play a scenario, And then if it's a good scenario, guys switch sides and you get to play it from the other side, That's the one thing I dislike. The other thing I dislike about it is a little too generic. That's it. That's easy. It's easy to add, details to stuff. But the press your luck system is excellent. We really like that. We got to make do you activate somebody who's easy, but it's not really the guy you want to activate? Because as soon as you fail an activation on one of your units, the flow of play goes to the other side, if I remember correctly. So you might want a unit of infantry. You want them to do something, but they're not great. But if you try them first and fail, you didn't do anything your turn. So it's kind of a unique thing like that. But of course, we'll do it with 15 millimeter figures and mark off casualties, like many other systems have. When if you've got mounted, all on 3s, unless they're light horse. So if you've taken 2 of the 3, you just have those pipe cleaners. Just mark them left to right, just like we used to do on Johnny Reb and Napoleonic games and all that. When you take 3, the stand comes off. It's easy enough to do. We've got tons of armies for it, and just see how that plays. Because it does have horse archers in it, that shoot at a distance, unlike, other games that I play that don't have them, and you have to pretend that that's happening. I want something a little bit less abstract, I'm not an Algebra 2 type of person. I need concrete stuff. So, anyhow, after Recon, I should have a pretty good idea of the ebb and flow, since it's fresh on my mind, and roll right into that and play some games of that. And then we can do some Rampant Lion videos. I don't know. We're going to do it in 15 millimeter with the troops you already have. So if infantry's like 6, if heavy infantry's like in groups of 6, Well, our guys are 4 to a stand, so there'll be groups of 8, you know? I love the push your luck thing. It's hard decisions, but that's the fun thing. A game is about making decisions, you know? And some people just want to go nuts and not think about it. I tend to be a thinker and not want to take risks unless, I have to. But that's what I'm planning on doing. I also signed up Mitch for all 3 of them. I don't know if he'll play all 3 because I know he is planning on playing some DBA, but hey, if you don't show up to that particular game, it's okay. But that way he has a fresh frame of reference. So 2 weeks later, if we start playing it, and I think I'm going to get it on PDF. I don't want to get a nice book that's going to get mauled and I'm going to feel bad about, So, do you try to activate this hard to activate units first because I really need them to act, or do I activate a couple of these easier to activate units first in case the harder one fails? Exactly. I've played it a couple times and really liked it. There's a lot of the skeleton. The skeleton for the rules works. The skeleton for the rules works. The armature, you know what I mean. So, and making different troops a little different, that's the stuff that's easy to do and fun to do. And it doesn't need to be necessarily balanced. They need to have that flavor. Like, one of the magazines I got recently, I downloaded one series of a magazine, was using Lion Rampant for a scenario on killing Alexander. So it was an Alexander themed battle using Lion Rampant. So, it doesn't need to be tournament for points and all that kind of stuff. If you could just do away with points, not a problem. So, definitely looking forward to that. That just happened today, so I'm really excited about that. And they've got to be fun games because that guy runs some great games. The guy that runs them is a guy that he used to have a War Gamers Club at his middle school. He used to be vice principal. Every vice principal in middle school that I had to deal with was a total freaking dick. Okay? Why couldn't I have that guy? Anyways, he runs a great game. He adds a lot of flavor to him. And he's very dynamic when it comes to that stuff. So, really looking forward to that. Yeah. Yeah, and hell, playing it for all day. I'm gonna bring my little notepad, just write little notes. Okay, you do this first, you do that first, you do that first. So then when you look into the rules, you're like, oh, I gotta remember. Yeah, okay, yeah. You might learn some new things along the way, but at least you have like a solid foundation to learn from. The saves are interesting. Guys, I remember with heavy armor, you got to get 2 hits to knock one of them down. That kind of stuff. And I think it's die 6 and die 10, both. So, anyhow, to be continued. I hope we enjoy it, and I hope we make videos of it. I mean, I enjoy making videos. And it'll be somebody doing Lion Rampant in 15s because everything's 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28. I'm not buying new figures, and I don't have a love for 28s to begin with, so. And you could still build DBA armies and just play them in Lion Rampant, Yeah, the only way all-day Lion Rampant wouldn't work is if there's a bunch of putzes in a game. You know what I'm talking about. People who lose at life and they want to win on the tabletop to make up for it. Well, both sides are trying to win. I want to say I played it twice. One of them was an El Cid period battle. I don't remember what the other one was. But that's the news I had to report. I figured you'd enjoy that. I know you have the rules. I doubt you played with them once. I know it's daunting. I'm personally very daunted when it comes to trying to pick up a set of rules and get them off the ground without ever seeing them played. That's just kind of not worth it. I used to do it before when I was younger, and it wasn't really a problem. Now I'm like, maybe I'm just enjoying painting much more. It's going to cut into my painting time, so I'd rather not do that. What's up, Nordic? Oh, I'm doing all right. I decided to skip the workout today so I wouldn't have shaky hands. This is the second armored car crewman. Painted the first one this morning. And you paint these guys so we can seal them and put them inside the armored car and see what they look like. You're mulling over doing Dux Britannium, Dux Bellorium, and Saga in 15, but use 44. Why limit me to just being the madman of one geographical location? Hey, everywhere's north if you try hard enough. I'll be honest with you, I am not a fan of Dark Ages Britain. I find it like just boring as shit, you know? But that's not my people, you know? My Dark Ages is in Iberia, where my people are from. Now, the problem I have with Dark Ages Britain is I just feel like the different factions aren't different enough from each other. You know, Anglo-Saxons and Vikings. Okay, Vikings had axes, Anglo-Saxons had spears, but they're all cousins of each other. I don't know. It just seems like there's not enough information on how they each painted their shields differently. So I have to come up with my own. I have to invent too much stuff. I could do it. Don't get me wrong. I've had my eye on some Anglo-Saxon 15 millimeter figures for a long time, and they would look sexy, but it's not something that just screams at me. I got to do it. I draw part of my ancestry to Northumbria, Scotland. I would love to do a Scottish army just so I could drink scotch while I'm playing them. I know, and it's not the same period, but it's the spirit that counts. So we will try that in next month, right? In about 6 weeks. So I suspect I will probably come away with the rules. Thinking going and post from on a bridge, which would have like late Roman look stand out. What company Anglo-Saxons were you looking at? Oh, of course, Forged in Battle. That would not be a pretty army. Oh, because they're drab? Yeah, but there's a way to make a drab army look pretty. Matter of fact, several of the latest ones that I painted fall into that category. Like, they're a drab army, but you can't make them drab. A Tony drunk Scottish army. Yep. Pre-feudal Scots. got the makings of some of those guys. I don't think the rules are complicated. That's just a better route to say, let's try Mortem Gloriam and see. Mortem Gloriam is so, I probably like it. It's just so in depth. Like I don't want to. I don't want to get into that. I need something a little bit more lighthearted. To use the 15 millimeters figures we already have painted, because I'm not in a hurry to paint anymore. That doesn't mean I'm not going to. I'm just not in a hurry to do it. I'm enjoying the living shit out of the World War II stuff so much. I'm on this World War II high, so at least do this 5 freaking years or something like that in a row. Next step is going to be paint some of my plastic figures. See if they paint one guy and see how durable it is. So I'm just worried about it flexing and all the stuff that I've done just flake off. So there is one thing I really enjoyed about playing rapid fire and stuff like that the other night. Because I wasn't the one running the game, I didn't have to explain anything to everybody. And I was just thinking about that today. It's like I'm getting really burned out on explaining things to people. And it just happens to do with, stuff that you do at work. I'm really averse to doing anything at home that I find a pain in the ass to do at work and I'm forced to do. So explaining things to people that don't listen. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that while I'm not at work. I don't want to do it while I'm at work. I certainly don't want to do it at home. Looking at somebody said the great thing about skirmish caves side downs, I don't need a hell of a lot of force and battle. I said, one more Lord stronghold for the post. Think about buying it. I'm thinking of using it as inspiration to build one. I love surfing and stuff, and I don't pull the trigger on things. That 3D printed Italian village is just, that's just speaking to me. Hey, we got to master buildings, though, before we get into that. We got to finish the buildings that we have and master them. Be really happy with them before I'm going to decide to go down that road. And for that matter, decide I'm going to go into freaking Italy. Although that's, I think, where I would do my Brits. So the problem with Italy is that the German units that are in Italy are just like not interesting. They're just not interesting, But I think the terrain is suitable to that. These figures aren't that much bigger than 15s. All right, let's see if these guys look, as I like to say, equivalent. Now, we need a little bit more, lighten him up a little bit more. highlight spots on them. I hate explaining things to people, especially I have to repeat myself. Yep, me too. I have to repeat myself constantly with you. Stop explaining things and ignore your pleas for help. My favorite is when they're on the phone during the rules explanation and either A, ask questions throughout the entire game and complain they don't know what they're doing, B, complaining you never said we could do that. No, you know what's worse than that? Here's what's worse than that. Somebody asked a legitimate question, and when you're in the process of explaining that question, the same effing person asks you another question. Like, wait a second, you just interrupted yourself, so you don't give a shit about your first question? Drives me bananas. But that's just, only certain people are that way, you know. There's one guy that shows up at the cons that way. I just ignore him. Oh, he's there, I go the other way. I don't want to deal with that guy. Pain in the ass. An uncurable pain in the ass. These guys look like they got dirty faces. Perfect. Okay, we're good there. We need to highlight some of this stuff up a little bit and then get the pink out for his piping. The pink piper. I enforce a strict no cell phone rule while gaming unless emergency. If you can't put the phone down for a few hours, you don't need to game with me. Well, I don't want to put rules on anybody. I don't like being told. Sometimes the game's boring. I want to pick up the cell phone. But I'm not watching TikTok. I'm just surfing. I'm looking at game-related stuff. I'm still on topic. What ticks me off about gamers, the ones who constantly complain about dice rolls and complain when they're losing. Those same individuals rub it in when they're winning. I am always positive about my die rolling. I've rolled my way out of paper bag. I have to make sure they aren't here, but I have two friends who are writing a shared story on Google Docs. That sounds boring as shit. I don't know if that's still a thing, but they'd each continue writing their part of the story. What a bunch of losers. When it wasn't their turn. Talk about multitasking. I hate multitasking. I don't know what brain they are, but I'm the other part of the brain. What a bunch of losers. You need better friends. Your house is big enough. You need one of them buttons you press and they fall into like a flaming pit. All right. We need a little white dot, and inside that little white dot, put a tiny red dot. Yes, it can be done. I usually roll great. I'm very confident that I can roll something when I need it. It doesn't always work, but I have a very positive attitude about rolling well. And I love saying, you need to roll ones. No, I'm not going to. And then they roll ones, you know. One of these days, I'm going to get burned as a witch. I just don't let that die get away with it. They can push me around. I don't switch dice either. Oh, nailed it. We'll show you close-up pictures in a little bit. All right, where's the old rose? The color known as Old Rose. One of those colors. I'll never use it for anything. Guess again. So really looking forward to that. I'm glad I caught that today. I could sign up for it because it's a game that I was planning on trying on my own with the figures that we have. I mean, other than doing some shading on the binoculars, the guy's about done. We'll let them dry a little bit before we seal them. We gotta put like a little, tiny little Nazi eagle at the top here. Just kind of the impression that there's something there. This guy's looking a little like El Duce. The douche. That'd be funny. So, I was looking at plastic figures today. There's a company called Sets. It's a Russian company. And it actually makes some pretty decent looking figures for some oddball stuff. Let me show you what these two guys look like together. Oh, we got to do the hair on both of them. Find where the hell's my cursor? Let's see if that's close enough. Nope. That looks shitty. There we go. Now we're not looking so shitty. These two guys. We just need to give them some hair. Making one of them blonde. Obviously. All the best Nazis are blonde, right? Did you say best Nazis? You know what I meant. Don't even go there. My buddy had a thing for redheads. He'd always make almost everybody in his army redheaded. Which is okay if you have like an Irish or a Scottish army, but there aren't that many Russian redheads. I mean, they have them, but they're just not, 75% of the damn army. Let's zoom this back out. There we go. Inform Spanish division. No one King's finest. Which be the guy. Can I be the guy with the binoculars? Way past your bedtime. Just stopping in for a few minutes. Excellent, Jack. Thanks for coming by. What color is your hair, Nordic? It better be blonde. No, seriously, what color is your hair? We'll make that guy that color. You want to be the guy with the binoculars. Why you gotta be a Nazi? Okay. We'll make sure you get killed in every battle. Mr. Barnes, welcome back. What color is Nordic's hair? We're gonna have to. It'll be you, but we'll call you something else. I haven't figured out what that character's name is, but it'll be somebody. It'll have some Germanic name on there. Dark brown hair. Okay. Dark brown. You're like my people. All right. Nazi with the dark brown hair. All right. We'll make Shorty the guy that's blonde. We're going to use the same brown. Leather brown. There's a scenario in one of the magazines that is a recon scenario. And it was designed in the magazine for either Pumas or Lynxes. Two of either one. And the funny thing is I have one Puma and one Lynx, and they didn't serve in units together. So from what we know, the Pumas were only in about 5 different units. The Lynxes were only in 5 different units, and none of them are the same. So, Pumas were in Panzerlehr and 2nd Panzer, just so I can think of right off the bat, in Normandy. And neither one of those two had Lynxes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the scenario. We're going to use these armored cars in it. So we use pair of 231 armored cars. And it's kind of like a little recon scenarios, just kind of to test the waters kind of thing. And you use like a deck of cards of one suit. And, 2 through king. And you put them face down, you mix them up, and you put them face down in different areas where things can appear. Depending on which one you pull, something can be on there from, a main battle tank to, nothing. I think 2 through 8 are nothing. And 9 is something, 10 something, You could have a rifle squad or anti-tank rifle team or anti-tank gun. And you kind of get points depending on what you spot. So that's kind of, that was kind of a unique way to do it. Might be a good intro scenario for, vehicles. Maybe not, but I was thinking, well, your hair's a little lighter today, just so it stands out. But, just some food for thought. Okay, and the other one This guy's going to be all world blonde. I'm just going to start where the other one ended up. So we're going to color him. No. I know what your armored car is going to be called. Your armored car is going to be called Lagertha. That's only appropriate. That's what your armored car is going to be called. Think I can pull it off with some Germanic looking font? I think I can get pretty freaking close. Challenge accepted. I just got to make sure how it's spelled in German. Because they all had nicknames. You would never believe I have blonde hair. My brother supposedly had blonde hair when he was little. Not me. Okay. How do you spell lager? I bet it doesn't have an H in it. In German. Winnick Wednesday. Oh, man. Nope, it apparently does have. Okay. Apparently nicknames were really common for armored cars. Yep, that would just be appropriate for you. I knew you wouldn't argue with me. And I'm almost always see it on this side. All right. We got to do a little searching for this. First thing we got to do is we got to find our epically awesome brush. Okay? So bear with me while I find it. I'm sure I will. It's one I have most confidence in. For starters, it's a liner. I am a big fan of liners. This could be it. But there was two of them. And if not, the one I was using is actually behaving pretty well. It might be this one right here. All right. Okay. I believe it's spelled away. We're going to spell it the same way. Yep. So we're going to do a little trick here. I can't remember what it's called. DAF font. It's a place where you can get free fonts, right? So we want to look for Gothic. All the Gothic fonts. Here's one called Old London. There's one in particular. Actually, the one that looks like Disney writing is probably spot on. It's called Enchanted Land. There's one actually that's like Germanic something or another. It's called, I want to say I have that one somewhere. It's not in my computer here. Maybe it's under script. Let me look. We're going to do a search for German. Germania. That's what it's called. Germania. Okay, so I'm going to go. I'm not going to download the font or anything. I'm just going on the same page. Hello. And we're going to click on it. Oh, wrong one. That's Germanica, not that one. Germania. Okay, type your text here. Lagertha. Submit. Size, let's not do medium, let's do large so I can see it. Submit. Okay, now we're going to right click on this, save as. I like doing stuff like this. Oh, I don't want the whole web page. Let's do this. Let's do a print screen. Okay. Now we're going to go in my paint program. Because I'm stupid like that. I just know how to use Paint 3D a lot because I've used it a lot. And we're going to go ahead and open that picture we have, and we're going to cut it down so only that part's showing, and then we'll paste it on the screen while we're typing. We're going to browse. Okay, here's the screenshot. Let's go to a conventional mouse. I'm not a fan of the mouse pads. They always seem to misbehave when you don't want them to. And we're going to do a crop. And let's crop this down here. Let's crop this down here. Let's crop this down here. And here. And we're going to go done. And now we're going to go menu. Let's do save as an image. And we're going to call it Lagertha, Goddess of Beer. That's what it should be. Lagertha, Goddess of Beer. Not IPAs. Lager. Not a fan of IPAs. I could drink one if I have to, but who's telling me I have to? All right. Now, let's find this image. Let's see what image is viewable here. Oh, not one there. Okay, how about one here? Nope. Well, one of these has a damn image in it. Okay, this is some shields or something like that. So we're going to go ahead and modify this one. I'm going to do a browse. Pictures. Should be under the L's. Okay, that's what we're going to attempt to paint. We're going to change the L a little bit. That's a little too hard to tell it's an L. You do realize, well, you do realize I gave you the idea for the freaking name. So, there you go. All right, before we get started on this crusade, whose ass I'm sure we will kick, and so I'm very confident that this will turn out well. That's why I like doing this. It's just like, I know this is going to turn out well. Let's go ahead and seal these two bastards. By the time we're done with this, we'll be able to put your happy ass in there. You like that font? Me too. It's a great font. Normally you think that the Old English one would work. The Old English has too many things that are like coming off. It's clean. The A's look, I just wanted something there, You know what I like? Yep. I do. I have good taste, so if you don't like what I show you, you have bad taste. See how that works? Get all this little old crusty paint off of it. All right. The trick with that is don't go over it because it gets sticky really quick. And as soon as it gets sticky, you'll end up peeling some of the paint off of it. It's actually okay to go too thick. Just don't touch the same spot you went over. Because then it'll ruin all your handiwork. All right. Don't dip this in water. I don't even want to know what would happen. Probably contaminate the rest of the water and not clean this. All right, where is my thinner? I don't see it. Why is it hot all the way in the back? Let's get rid of this before I spill it. I will not be putting this back in here. That's too difficult of a place for it to reach, for it to go. That is connected? Okay, good. Okay, wipe that down. You will now go to a new spot that we cleared out the other day, all the way over here. And there's plenty of space to go over there. Okay. Now, on to paint the vixen's name. All right. I believe... I don't know. I think I want to use this one. This one looks like it's going to kick some serious ass. Let's use a fresh... And I'm fully prepared to mix up a batch to clean the letters up. Now, they're normally up here on the side, running at the same angle with this. So that's how we're going to do it. If you look at pictures of the other ones that they have on there, that tends to be how they do it. So... all right. Okay, I will be right back. And then we will get this insanity started. This is actually the stuff that I like the most, is hand painting stuff like that. Hand painting things you shouldn't be hand painting. Be right back. don't have any information in your mother's family. All right, here we go. I'm going to need something black. This, so I can test it before I put it on. I did freaking lettering in Russian. With Russian lettering. I'm sure I can handle this. This is like standard stuff. Standard fare. The important thing is to get the consistency right, so that this doesn't hang up as you're writing these things down. All right. I am not going to start with the L. I'm going to start with the A. All right, so we're going to bring and it doesn't have to look exactly the same, it's just inspiration. Mitch will get a kick out of this because he knows exactly who this character is. Yeah, that E is a shape that I wouldn't have done it, so I'm glad I have this to compare it to. Let's try a little bit more white. Start diluting this a little too much, and then it gets kind of opaque, which isn't a problem. It just means you just got to go over again. A little bit taller. Maybe a little bit more of my wrist balanced on there. The H is taller than the T, huh? And then we want this A to look equivalent to the other A. And now give me a big L. Got a little piece of fuzz on there. Still got a little piece of fuzz on there. Still got a little piece of fuzz on there. All right, fuzzy. All right, let's zoom this in. Let's see how I think it looks like. I think that's pretty good considering it's my first shot at it. We'll see what you guys think. Da-da-da-da. I just show it and then Nordic's away, so he won't get to see it until he watches the video. That's plenty good enough. That's plenty good enough. Excellent. Yeah, I've only seen it on one side. They usually have it on one side of the vehicle. And, you know, fortunately, I could do it on the other side, but that just takes extra time on there. So, anyhow, I think that turned out plenty good. Did you see it? Did you see your... it's close enough. Probably, honestly, better than the guy would probably paint it. So there you go. There's your armored car. Just in time for it to get penetrated by a communist shell. Oh man. I don't think your happy ass is dry yet though. Well, I don't want to cut that too soon and have a schmear and have to repaint you. Honoring you? Well, we'll see how it does in battle. It might be dishonorable. You bring shame on your family. Anyhow, it's a good name. It's a good name that is appropriate. Oh man, this looks like he's dry. Oh, I can't wait to put him in. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. This is where I get in. This is where I could get injured, live on TV. And that's good because these armored cars don't have numbers. You know, so this would be, 231 and have the name. So, all right. We're going to get right underneath here and just pry this up. I've never cut myself. I need to stop talking about it. Still have never. Okay, this is the bloke that goes on the other one. Whew. Playing with fire. If it was sharper, I probably would have cut myself. But these things dull in no time. we'll glue your happy ass in there. There we go. Styling, man. So apparently what happened is, I didn't know this, this extra armor they have in the front, they added the armor intrinsically in here before, and then later on they didn't use these things. I can imagine this thing rattling like a mother all over the place for sure. So, anyhow. We'll call you little Heidi or some bullshit like that. We're not going to do that tonight. Okay. Styling and profiling. That's right. That's exactly right. Okay. These two clowns are part of the crew for this. So we need to glue these guys down. We need to clean them up and prime them because these will be the next two guys we'll be working on. And this guy actually has a bullet hole in his back, which we will try to fill in with the old Vallejo putty. Not a whole lot of cleanup on these things. I think these crew members are pretty darn good, especially because they came with them at no additional charge. They're not free. They're already figured in the price of them. I don't know why he's missing half of a foot. Maybe that means he goes over here somewhere. And this guy goes down here somewhere. I don't think I'm going to glue them in place. I'll probably use some blue tack. I don't know what I'm going to do. All right. This guy's got a frown face on him like somebody peeing on his schnitzel. Anyways, there's a company called Strelset. They're out of Russia, I think. And they make all kinds of plastic figures, including some packs. Like they had let me give you an example. I want to say they had like some kind of soldiers of like the Boxer Rebellion or something like that. Whatever set it was, they literally had like 48 guys in the set, right? And every single figure, there's one in a different pose. That's pretty cool, you know? They've got some stuff for the Crimean War, and it's like each guy is different. I mean, it's slightly different. So instead of them being, 50 guys that all have the same pose, I thought that was pretty cool. Just kind of looking at there and seeing if... I'm just afraid, if it's this kind of plastic, no problem. If they're bendy a little bit, I'm going to have to paint one and see how durable they are. I got plenty of plastic 1/72 scale guys. I'm just going to have to paint one of them one day and just see how that turns out. Now, I should be able to take these 2 pennies I have here. Can this guy balance on there? Probably enough that I can get him on there. This guy's the problem. So I think what I'm actually going to do is... Did I take all of them to the garage? I did. Okay, I'm going to go get 2 of those alligator clips, and I'm going to clip them from the bottom, and it's easier to move them around like that. Be right back. Yeah, Strelets. Sorry, yeah, Strelets. Be right back. Okay, we got the two alligator clips. What's cracking, everybody? I don't know, I'm sitting on it. What's up, Justin? Oh, I hope this isn't too... I think we'll be alright there. And then what we'll do is we'll seal this and we'll come back and we'll hand paint what we weren't able to get and then seal that. Should be fine. This guy's got the hole in his back. Get some of the plastic putty. This applicator is amazing. Amazing. Amazing applicator. Okay, we're not going to be able to seal him because of that. Maybe we shouldn't mess with that right now. We'll do that. We'll do that in the morning. Okay, won't need these pennies for now. We recycle all these things. They get used later. Somebody one time was like, you can't, it's illegal to deface money like that. No, it's not. You just can't like change a freaking 1 cent into a dime, you know? It's my money. I can do whatever the hell I want with it. You know, they're never going to go back into circulation. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and drop. Actually, I don't know if he hits bottom or not. I'm just going to leave him as is for now. Let's see if we need to add any of this goo to the bottom. We don't here. And we don't there. That's good. All right, how about here? Nope. Nope. In other words, paint will do the trick. Won't have to do any there. I don't think we'll have to do any there. Okay. None there. None there. I'm just checking for good measure to see if... No, we're good. All right, so we're going to, we can ditch this for the time being. Now that epoxy's plenty dry now. And let's go in with the chocolate brown. And clean that up. And let's not use a brush that's tiny. We'd like to be done this week. Yep, that one should do it. All right. We can lose a laggard now. So let's just start with this one, which we did that one first. And any areas around here, oh, we are going to need a little drop of the magic. And just look for that little shiny area there at the bottom. It literally takes a moment to do this. This is the same color that we did the base color of this, of the groundwork. That's it. That one's done. This one, which the turret will rotate. Supposed to. We'll leave it alone. That's going to be like, I'll move it for you. Don't touch a turret. I know what we should do with that armored car. We'll give that character a last name of Captain. That's a German last name. Your last name will be the same as Rick's. Hey, I don't know what your name is, so, you know. Wild Arms. Never heard of her. Are there that many games that are exclusive for one console and not another? I mean, are there PlayStation games that they won't make for Xbox and vice versa? I mean, I know there are, but there can't be that many. Well, one of my favorite games is not made for the PlayStation. The game that I've never spoken to anyone else that's played the game before, ever. And I think it's a fairly popular game, but I just haven't seen what a fine name. Yeah, for a Nazi. Keppen. Your name is O with the two umlauts, P-P-E-N. K-double O with the umlauts, P-P-E-N. So you lose the E in German. Didn't think I was going to know that. I thought you could just blend in and nobody would know you're German, huh? Okay. Yep, I found you out. Umlauts are cool, man. What I don't like is when the Germans substitute that one symbol for the double S. It looks stupid, in my opinion. Okay, and we do have some shiny bits down here, which I'm not too worried about from the epoxy because we can put grass in front of it. We can put some flat coat on it. It will all, but they are on there pretty darn secure. That is more important. All right, U.S. field drab is next. As soon as I find her, I think it's this one right here. There she is. Yeah, they make all kinds of detail sets for these vehicles, but what ends up happening is you end up spending so much money. You end up spending like $20 for a detail set for one vehicle. Like, that's more than the vehicle, you know? Like, nah, we don't need that. We're good. All right. I'm just going to use the same brush and just go over these areas lightly that we painted so that it all kind of blends together with the same colors. They're there. Yep. Saw several people last couple days that actually posted pictures that had, you know, miniatures that had swastikas on them, and I'm just wondering, like, I wonder how long it's going to take before the automated whatever finders find them and not take their pictures off, because that's not really a pain in the ass, but just, you know, report them. Then they get a 30-day ban just because they posted pictures of units in a tournament that happen to have, you know, swastikas on them. OBs, Sturmdorder Schneid. Okay. These are cool looking cars. But that's why a lot of the German stuff's really popular. They had cool looking vehicles. They were assholes, but they had cool looking vehicles. You know? One of my favorite vehicles, probably my favorite vehicle from World War II. People say, what's my favorite tank? I don't know that I have a favorite tank, but my favorite vehicle of all vehicles in World War II has got to be the Stuka. It just looks badass. You know? It looks wicked cool. One of the first models I ever built. I like how it looked. Never really thought about that. And that's kind of strange because I'm not really into planes. I'm not into World War II planes. That's definitely the environment I know the least about, and I'm the least interested in, is aircraft. Oh, this guy's laying down on the job? Damn communist. All right, and let's see, make sure we got all these other guys here. Okay, now we do Iraqi sand. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. That could have been messy. All right. I'm actually going to ditch that one. Let's pull out a new one. It doesn't have any leftover vestiges of that color. I don't know what I'm doing after these armored cars. Honestly, I probably should do a Panzer Yellow vehicle. Flames of War makes Stukas. I had an old MPC kit. I always loved the box art on the MPC stuff. And I had it hanging from the roof of my room as a kid. Came with decals for swastikas and all. And I think I had a Spitfire chasing it or something like that. Dead meat if you're being chased by a Spitfire, you're in a Stuka. Stuka's only deadly if it's flying and what it's going for isn't. You return. MacArthur's back. Let's move your happy ass off there before you fall down and break something. I hope a lot of people don't seal like they're basing. I can imagine that's a nightmare. Having to try to seal this after the vehicle's already on there. That's a nightmare. Nightmare waiting to happen. Have I done stud 3s? I have one. It's kind of small. I might do that one next. It's primed, I think. It's not a very good model of it. And it's 1/76 scale. Oh, I did a stud 4. Not a stud 3, but it's a stud 4. Yeah, I did that one. Want to see it? I'll bring it out. It's definitely not going to look like the right color that it is. It's going to look real lemony in this lighting. This I want to say is it's either a Frontline or a BP cast model. And one of the antennas already broke off. These things aren't very durable. These pieces of sprue. I had two, one coming from two different. I think I need to use brass rod or something, make them a little bit more durable. But yeah, this looks extremely lemony in this light. This is the AK paints. So this is actually one of the first vehicles that I put on there. So I figured, it's a chance to try it, and it's kind of rough, but it'll work just fine for a model. All right, let's get. Let me check on one thing. Okay. You love Stugs? Have a whole bunch for Flames of Wars. Most common, AFV for the Germans. The one I have does not look very good. It's just very basic looking. You know, there'll be other ones. I'd get the Plastic Soldier Company ones, but you know, I really want to finish the stuff that I have, so I'm kind of going a new direction, but very useful vehicle. Oh, I do have a Stug 3. How stupid of me. course I have one. Of course I have one. But it's a gray one. Took me forever to figure out which one it is. It's an E. See, this one has the double antennas too, and one just broke off. These things aren't working. The sprue for antenna just isn't working. This whole thing. Yeah, look how bad the casting is on it. It looks like it's just, you know. Yeah, it's an E. Man, this thing it's like the heaviest vehicle I have. It's super, super heavy. But you can tell how my weathering has changed already, just after a few months. This has hardly any weathering on it. And the ones I've done now have a little bit more weathering on them. It looks better, makes them stand out a little bit more. This lighting is terrible. It washes everything out. But anyhow, God, this thing is heavy. Yeah, forgot about that guy. I have so many vehicles, I forgot what I have. I believe once these are done, it'll put me up to 63 vehicles done since October 1. Since I started painting October 1. The yellow one is all resin. The gray one is all freaking lead. I mean, it's heavy. It's heavy metal. Definitely heavy metal. All right, let's get these tufts out here. I'm about to run out. And then we'll have a different problem. All right, we're gonna need this. We're gonna need the two that we have open that we've been using. I don't think I put them back. I didn't. They're right here. This is the one we're really low on. The dark green shrubs. Really low on that one. I got plenty of these. Lowlander shrubs. I got plenty of them. The lowlanders. So let's limit this to one of them per vehicle. So that's going to be 5 of them. Because I can cut them in half and put them in multiple places. And I'm going to take about a few of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They do vary if you don't buy them in person, like color-wise. So I'm afraid of. I threw you on the couch. You stay your ass up there. Don't fall down. Uppity inanimate objects. All right, we need 5 of these things. That one's huge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're really low. I was going to order some of these through Amazon, and the color and the picture they have does not look anything like them. So I'm leery of getting them and them being significantly different. Oh, it's definitely old. Heavy metal rules. Yes. Oh, we got to do the regular grass first. Just drop some of this Elmer's. Yeah, it's really, really heavy. I don't know what the manufacturer is of it. I got it on an estate sale, and it was painted very roughly, and the top and the bottom were rotated. So in other words, the bottom part of the back of the tank was in the front, and the front was in the back, and it was like two pieces, and it took forever to loosen that up. I don't know what I ended up doing. Acetone? Something? Yeah, it was a nightmare getting that up. All right, we might as well start with Lagertha first. Let's get the stuff that I just sent away. Let's get a brush that we don't love so much. This one. This should work fine. And see where we're going to put this grass at. All right, now use that lid for now. Let's get Mr. Tweezers. Boy, you're really drinking the Lagertha Kool-Aid, aren't you? Created a monster. Let's just finish this vehicle before we move on to another one. I do need to get brass rod for that. I'm tired of. I don't know why the stretch screw isn't working worth a damn, but it's not. All right, we're gonna put one tuft here. Come on. I could just miss getting run over by that front tire. Okay, we're gonna put another one here. Let's take one of these. Okay, this is what your little happy ass is gonna look like. The colors don't do it justice right now. It's very It looks washed out with this light. Okay. Let's do the other armored car, which we haven't named yet. That can wait. It's less the character, Lagertha, and more finding Catherine winning the big orders. Yeah, I'm personally not a fan of tattoos, so. I tell you what, I never finished the series. I never finished watching that series. I made it to where they took Paris and Rollo got married, and that's about as far as I got. So I think that's either season 3 or 4 or something like that. There's just too many things to watch. There's just way too many things to watch. There's no one to watch that series with. So that's kind of another kind of deal breaker for me. There's so many things to watch out there, so. All right. We've got, I'm going to put a bright green one up here, because I think we've got one of these that's small and out of the way. There we go. This one right here. Okay. And then we won't put another one on this side, because I want her to be different. And then we're going to put one here, cover that up a little bit, and put another one here. Okay, and then this one's done. With this clown. We'll glue them in later. All right, how are these, how's this guy with a hole in his back doing? I don't know how long this takes to dry, but I think we should be able to paint him tonight. Well, we'll be able to take a picture of all these guys except this one because it doesn't have his crew in. Well, that shouldn't take long. I enjoyed painting the figures. Now, those guys are actually in green. Those are actually in field gray. The crew members. I think I'm going to do them in field gray. Go back to here. Yep. He ate somebody's schnitzel. Got shot in the back. That's the ejection mark. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. Ejection molding release mark, something like that. I mean, their figures are damn near flash free. Well, so are their tanks. Honestly, their vehicles are pretty. Oh, we got one back here. There we go. Yeah, I got shot in the back. They didn't want to play hide the schnitzel with him, so they shot him. Prefer metal. Yeah. Did you ever have any 1/72nd scale figures growing up in plastic? I still have some of the ones that I had as a kid. Of course, all the cool figures are missing. You know, the cool figures being, the Desert Rats British rifleman running with the Webley revolver, and the Africa Corps guy that we always called Rommel. He's just kind of signaling away with his binoculars on. Of course, when you're a kid, the coolest figures are the flamethrowers. Everybody likes the flamethrower figures. Till you play a game and realize that, oh, they're probably going to get mowed on the way to getting where they're supposed to be, because their range is so darn short. Yeah, their vehicles were pretty good, but they definitely screwed the pooch on the size of the sizing of the stuff on the turret of the Panzer III. It just looks wrong. It looks wrong when you look at it closer. You're like, man, that's a huge cupola. What the hell's going on here? But it'll work for a war game model. But it's like, man, how'd they get everything so right and they got that so wrong? How'd they manage to do that? All right. Put one of these here. Go to the opposite side. Put one of them here. Let's cut this in half. these here. And the other one. Over there. And the radio car. Command car, I should say. Yeah, a lot of the IMAX and Revell ones used to have a big collection of ACW DVIs, and a friend at the time would line up our figures and throw foil balls at them. Well, that's a pretty good way to do it, and not destroy your figures. I've heard of people like shooting things with with BB guns or lighting them on fire. I'm like, come on, man, that's not cool. You know, those things cost money. You don't have a lot of money when you were a kid. I mean, at least I didn't. It just seems wasteful. I don't have a whole lot of plastic figures that I like a lot. Other than the Desert Rats and the Africa Corps by Airfix or MPC in my case, the same ones. I got some other ones that are like the Eschi guys. They're just weird poses. They look pretty poor. And I think I had some Matchbox Africa Corps, or a few Matchbox Africa Corps, and I don't know that I have a whole set of them or anything. But I like them compared to the Airfix ones, because the Airfix ones, none of them had MP40s. They all had these MP41s, and God, the German infantry, that's even worse. They got like a make-believe submachine gun that never existed. It's a weird combination of stuff. All right, let's put one of these bright-ass ones here. And put one of these here. And then on this side, I don't think we've done two green ones on one side, have we? Yeah, I don't think we have. And put this one in the front. And then this one right behind it. Okay, that's all she wrote. I mean, we still have to do the license plates. But we're not going to do those tonight. Growing up in a small village, we never had Airfix here in the States, or at least in Florida. We had them. They were all rebranded as a company called MPC. They were the same thing. They just had different box art. Must have been some kind of a distribution issue. And man, the lighting is awfully washed out looking here. Yeah. But this is them. We've got the license plates. I'll have to make up some fake numbers and just kind of fudge them on there. And that's it. They're ready to go other than that, so. Okay, folks. Well, until next time, thanks for hanging out with me.